unfortunately, you've got many people that don't have the flood insurance to actually cover the loss. So we want to dry up some of the myths about flood insurance. So
yeah, helping us with that is Steve Ellis. He joins us via Skype. He's a member of the Smart Safer Coalition. So Steve, let's just right off the top, what is the top myth about flood insurance?
Well, I think the top myth about flood insurance is that people think that their actual homeowners insurance actually covers flood. But in the vast majority of cases, if not all of the cases, you have to have a separate policy that actually will help you out recover from a flood.
Yeah.
Okay, next up. Flood insurance will cover the entire cost of the damages. Why is that a myth?
Well, basically, from the federal flood insurance policy, the maximum a homeowner can get is up to $250,000 for the value of the home, plus another $100,000 for contents. If you wanted to get any additional insurance, you'd have to get supplemental insurance on top of that. And so that is often not enough to actually rebuild.
Oh, okay, so excuse me, standard homeowners policy does cover flooding, but not the type from Mother Nature, correct?
Correct. If you had some sort of a backup in your in the toilet or something like that, you know, some sort of sewer backup or something like that caused the flooding. But if you actually have Mother Nature's flooding your house, like the people in North Carolina have experienced, that's not covered by regular homeowners insurance.
Okay, Steve, let's tackle another myth. This one, different types of water damage are all classified the same by insurers. Now why isn't this true?
Well, because, and this is one of the things where we would hope that eventually we would get to a private flood insurance market and develop that, because then you wouldn't have these sort of determinations. But let's say if a hurricane hit and it blew the roof off of your house and then it rained into the house, well, that would still be wind damage, and it would be covered by could be covered by your normal homeowners insurance policy. And that's sometimes you have this tricky element where how much is water, or how much is flood, and how much is wind, and trying to separate the two.
Okay, with that said, I remember back in 2005 with Katrina, 11 years ago now, I'm wondering if there's been any standardization with this. There was insurance companies that were saying, well, the surge from Katrina was actually caused by wind, so it's really wind damage and not flood damage, and they weren't giving flood money to these homeowners. Has that been cleared out, or are there still fights going on with that type of a situation?
I think there'll still be fights like that going on. As a matter of fact, Senator Lott, senator from Mississippi, sued his insurance company over exactly that issue. And that's one of the things, again, that I think would be more resolved as the federal government works to develop the private flood insurance market. Well, then it could just become a rider on your regular homeowner's policy, and then it would be the same insurer, and they wouldn't be able to fight with themselves over how to cover it.
And when do you think the privatization of flood insurance is all going to happen? And, you know, do you think it'll ever be completely out of the government's hands?
I don't think it'll ever be completely out of government's hands, particularly because there are some policies that are subsidized right now that or were built before the flood insurance rate maps were done that are high risk policies. But we could move a lot of that off of the federal book and off of the back of taxpayers. I mean, I work at Taxpayers for Common Sense. We're a budget watchdog group, and we're concerned about the fact that this program is $23 billion in debt to taxpayers. And so if we do the things to try to foster that marketplace, people will look at that as a possible option. And the only reason why somebody would leave the federal program is either they get a better policy or a better price, or both.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, Steve, I think we're just about out of time, unfortunately. Last bit of advice, really super fast, one little thing you'd leave people with in terms of flood insurance?
Buy it.
Buy it. Okay, good enough.
That's
there
easy.
You go.
One word. I like that, Steve. Very, concise.
Absolutely.